closing the racial wealth gap. This is a conversation that's been going on for quite some time. I don't know how you have a show and control the editorial on the show and not talk about it. You should have already been in on this, man. Y'all pull y'all heads out of Trump's ass just a little bit to see sunlight. All of you would see that there are other issues. The point is this. I don't like what they're doing to Ice Cube right now. What they're doing is they're saying that Ice Cube is a Trump supporter when he said nothing like that. And that bothers me because he advocating for black people with this contract with Black America. Here goes a clip of Ice Cube on Chris Cuomo, CNN's Chris Cuomo, where they have a little conversation about it. I won't give you the whole thing. I want you to go check it out yourself, but here goes a little bit of that conversation.
Our next guest is Ice Cube. If you know anything about him, and you probably do, you know he started his career rapping in defiance about police presence and the realities of inner city life. And he got political with his songs as well recently during the Trump administration, most recently in 2018. Here's a taste.
Arrest the president. You got the evidence. That is fresh and intelligent.
Now we see a shift. Now he wants to work with President Trump, whose warm-up act at his rally tonight treats the first black woman to run for vice president like this.
But the most insidious thing that Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden are trying to perpetrate, and Bernie and Elizabeth and Kamala, I don't know. Whatever.
Now, that's Senator David Perdue. I actually called him Will Perdue earlier. That was the guy who played for the Bulls. He served with Harris for 3 years. He doesn't know how to say her name, or he thinks there's something to be gained by messing with her name. All right? Now, here's what the president had to say most recently about Black Lives Matter.
The first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, I said, that's such a terrible term because it's such a racist term. It's a term that sows division between blacks and whites and everybody else. And it's a very bad term for blacks. But they were very angry. It's a Marxist organization.
With all that going on and how the president continues to speak about there being no systemic inequality, it's no shock that Ice Cube got some heat for deciding to work with the Trump administration. He wants to deal with it. I want to understand it. So should you. So here is Ice Cube on Primetime. Thank you for taking the opportunity, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Chris, your lead-ins are a little misleading.
How so?
Well, the Platinum Plan is not my plan. I came up with the contract with Black America, and I didn't run to go work with any campaign. Both campaigns contacted me. Both campaigns wanted to talk to me about the contract with Black America. One campaign said, we love what you have, but let's really dig into it after the election. And one campaign said, we love what you have. Do you mind talking to us about it? And that's what I did. So I didn't run to nobody. And so that was real misleading to me.
Well, I didn't say you ran to anybody. I said that you had taken a pivot.
Well, you said I ran over to the Trump team instead of the Biden team. That's just not true.
Well, but you are working with the Trump team instead of the Biden team, and people are giving you heat for it. What do you say to them?
Well, I'm willing to work with both teams, but I'm just working with whoever is willing to work with me. So the Trump campaign came to me and asked me to explain to them some of the contract with Black America. That's what I did. I'm not playing no more of these games, these political games. We're not part of a team. We have very broad problems, especially the wealth gap in this country when it comes to Black Americans. So I'm going to whoever's in power, and I'm going to speak to them about our problems specifically. I'm not going there talking about minorities. I'm not going there talking about people of color or diversity or none of that stuff. I'm going there for Black Americans, the ones who are the descendants of slaves. And that's what I'm going to talk to anybody who's in power with that. So if anybody got a problem with that, it seems like a personal problem.
Well, here's the problem, and it is very personal, as you know, for a lot of people of color, because they'll say, well, why would you pick Trump when he says there's no such thing as systemic inequality?
I'm not picking nobody. He's the president.
But why do you think he'd want to do something for the community when he says there's no such thing as systemic inequality?
I don't know what he want to do. I just know what the man said. I know what he said to the country. I've never met Donald Trump. So I don't know what he's going to do. I just know what he said he was going to do. So both of them have a plan. Both of them say they're going to do something. And who knows what's really going to happen after November 3rd. Nobody knows from each side. We're all hoping that candidates keep their campaign promises. So that's just it.
So a couple things about this interview that I thought were interesting. First of all, I was glad to see that Ice Cube went on the Chris Cuomo show, because originally it was said that Chris Cuomo had backed out of bringing Ice Cube on the show. So if you read this from the bottom to the top, so the powers that be canceled my interview on Cuomo Primetime tonight. I've actually been banned from CNN for a few months, so I was surprised they even asked. But it seems like they can't handle the truth. Okay. So I saw that, and I said, okay. I said, this says it all. Chris, like many others, is protecting Biden. They couldn't care less about black folks getting out of poverty. You might fuck around and say something real, and CNN couldn't risk that. Right, Chris Cuomo? So that's what I said, okay? And that's based on what Cube said, and it's also how I feel. Chris Cuomo DM'd me. He said, Tim Black, you got it wrong. That's not right. It's not accurate. I responded to Chris Cuomo and I said, well, what's going on? Tell me where I'm wrong. Gotta tell me more than I'm just wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. Did you invite Ice Cube on? Did you change your mind? Are you trying to protect Biden from scrutiny or criticism that you know that Ice Cube's going to lay into the Democrats? People would like to know. He just responded by saying, well, I've spoken to Ice Cube. He came on the show. No, he didn't tell me he came on the show. He said, I want to make sure that you saw the latest update between me and Ice Cube. And check that out. I want you to know that I squared things up with Ice Cube. Something to that effect. Ice Cube says, thank you, Chris. At Cuomo Primetime. You're a man of your word. Don Lemon. That was some punk ass shit you just did. If you have any balls, I need to be on your show Monday night at 10 p.m. I'll be ready. Hey, I appreciate Chris Cuomo for taking time out to explain his position. I told him I was going to do this broadcast and correct based on that, okay? And that's what I'm doing. Chris Cuomo apparently was not afraid to bring on Ice Cube because there goes Ice Cube on the Chris Cuomo Primetime show right there, okay? Thank you. But here's the thing, man. The whole interview sounded a lot like you were just in the bag for the Democratic Party. Now, look, I think the time, and that's the whole point of what Cube's saying and the whole point of what I'm saying now. Let me not speak for him because I don't know Ice Cube. Derek Hamilton came on this show. Professor Derek Hamilton, Dr. Derek Hamilton came on the show. He talked about the contract with Black America. You guys, if you're a Tim Black supporter, if you're a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack, you already know that we've been covering that on this show. I got great viewers, a diverse crowd that actually gives a damn about these issues. They were here when I had Dr. Darity. They were here when I had Dr. Derek Hamilton. And he pointed out what the directives were. This is not about parties. This is not about choosing the Democrat or Republican Party. And Chris Cuomo and CNN seem very much tied to the Democratic Party. I mean, everyone knows this. Why are we even playing around? Chris Cuomo and all of them, listen, when people think about the ideology of the programs, the ideology of the programs of CNN and MSNBC and ABC and CBS, they think neoliberal. I don't even want to say left because you don't really have leftist programs, okay? You don't really have progressive. People use those names, those terms, but if they were progressives, they'd be pushing for Medicare for all. They'd be pushing for ending of mass incarceration. They'd be pushing for a lot of things that I don't hear them talk about, okay? But I do hear them sensationalize the killing of black people. I hear them sensationalize the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. They'll run that all week, but that doesn't mean that you're progressive or that you're really of the true left, okay? And this is just me speaking for the way I see it. The whole time, Chris Cuomo, it just seems like you're just coming from a vantage point of, aha, I got you. You with Trump. I got you. You with Trump. And I don't see where that's the case. He said he never met Trump. How can you be with somebody you never met? And I'm a little sad, a little disappointed that some people are just assuming that that's what's happening here. They're just assuming I'm seeing pictures of Ice Cube in a MAGA hat. I wonder who put that out. I want to know where I just want people to think, who would benefit from you thinking he was MAGA? I don't think it would benefit Cube. Who would it benefit? Well, I see a benefit for Donald Trump. I see a benefit for Donald Trump for you to think that he was MAGA, right? I also see a benefit for the Democrats, a reverse benefit, where they soiled the ground, where they saw his name, they discredit him in the black community by pushing him over there with Trump when that's not, like, without any real basis of saying that. In the clip, he said both the Democrats and Republicans came and talked to him. One said, we'll talk later. One said, let's talk now. Can we talk? What's he supposed to say? No, I don't want to talk to you. Like, we've been over this before. The difference is Ice Cube had help writing this with scholars and with professors. And he didn't just pull this out of his ass and say, hey, I want to do something about America, and then go meet with Trump. He already has like a game plan of having a conversation. What'll be important is if Ice Cube brings in those people with him if he does take it further. But as it stands right now, he hasn't met with Trump. What I'm saying is it just seems like a lot of work, a lot of people working to discredit him and say, he's trying to take shine. Why would a person who's already well off to do jump into this shit? People are delusional. There's nothing to be gained from being hated by half of America. I mean, unless you're like Tommy Lauren or someone Candace Owen. For a record producer, for a person who does that, there's nothing to gain monetarily. You understand what I'm saying? So I know it's the knee-jerk thing. People do it. Okay, but what I'm saying is, if you are a person in the public eye as fractionized, as divided as we are, these factions that we have, this is not a place to play around in. If you are a person who wants to stay mainstream and wants to do daddy movies with kids and want to be able to do something mainstream, and this is not really that area. And if he did, he would be all Democratic Party in, okay? Just like most of the other black celebrities are. Let's just keep it 100. I mean, that's what they have to do. The fact that Cube is willing to even say, okay, I talked to Trump's people. That is like the kiss of death, and you know it. So how can you say he's trying to parlay this thing by talking with Trump people? Like he's trying to siphon something out. Why are people saying that? I don't get it. From what I've seen, Ice Cube went on black media. He went on with, I saw him with Rowley. I saw him with Boyce. I saw him with Tone Talks. I don't know if Yvette was there, but Tone Talks. I mean, does that look like someone, I don't know. For me covering this, I just don't smell it that way. I don't know Ice Cube. Asking anything of this man. But I'm just saying what I see. There are issues in this country that need to be resolved. If you're serious about those issues, you need a team of people who know more than you know, but you need a person who can attract attention. This is part of the issue I have with some other folks. They have movements, but they don't have a movement leader in place that can bring attention to the issue. I'm sure, at least I would like to think, that more people are going to need to get involved, that this is going to get any legs more than just a news cycle. There are people who have been working on this for quite a long time, on policy for black folks that impact black American descendants of slaves' lives in a fundamental way. I don't want to discredit Ice Cube. I'm looking at the power structure and I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And it's like, if you don't run with the Democrats, then they say you black, you can't talk to no one. All I know is this. Where has it gotten us to this point? I don't see that same type of vitriol for the Hispanic community, for the Asian community, and for the white community. Everyone else gets to be diverse. They get to talk to both sides and choose a candidate or choose a president based on what benefits them most. Chris Cuomo, I find a little disingenuous that you want to talk about how the black community is going to treat Cube. First of all, the black community is not just Twitter. And the black community is not just whoever you know who are in your office. The black community has all types of folks who are not giving Ice Cube heat. In fact, there's some people clapping for Ice Cube right now who are apolitical, who don't side with any party. All they know is they got a lot of bills. Black bills matter too, Chris Cuomo. When we talk to Democrats, all they talk about, we're going to do some reform of the criminal justice system, and then they tinker around the edges. Well, what about these damn bank loans? What about these damn interest rates? What about education? What about student? Now just talk to me about HBCUs. What about student debt? All the same problems that white people have, black people have the same problems. It's just that when white people have the cold, we have walking pneumonia. So if it's bad in the white community, it's triple death. We're at death's door in the black community on those same issues. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. Most people already get it. I'm cognizant that there are opportunists. I don't feel that here. I feel that Ice Cube is adamant and serious about what he's doing. That's the sense I get. I respect the fact that Chris Cuomo reached out to clear it up. I respect the fact that he brought Ice Cube on the show. Okay, Don Lemon, you were the one giving Dave Chappelle heat because you felt he should talk more. I don't know how that came about, but you took credit for Dave Chappelle doing 846 with George Floyd. You took credit for it. You did a segment about it. You got mentioned and you did a segment. Okay, I'm Tim Black. How you doing, sir? Bring Ice Cube on the show and let's have this conversation. And stop making it seem like just because he created a document that was on the internet, I don't know if you covered it up to this point. It's been up on the internet for months. I don't know how these people can show their faces, Don Lemon, when you haven't covered these issues. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this movement for reparations, the movement for black folks getting some type of income equality, they need to be concerned. But that's the reason why black people got no problem with Cube talking to whoever about whatever, and not just Cube, any of us. Because we know we've been ignored, not just by the Democratic Party, but mostly by corporate media, which is tied to the Democratic Party. So have Ice Cube on, or have Derek Hamilton on, and have that conversation. But I want you to know, you're not getting any, there is nothing to be gained by hoisting anyone who talks to Trump or anyone who has an idea that can help better the black community, help lift us out of the bottom rung, to scrape us off the bottom of the country we helped build for free, and label them and slander them as if they don't care about black issues. Of course they care about black issues. They're talking about black issues. So it's like a reverse mind trick. If you talk to Trump, you don't care about black people, though you're talking to Trump about black people. Are you guys listening to this? And why are you going along with it? I don't understand, dog. Like, who dislikes black people but was advocating for black? I don't understand. Well, he doesn't like dogs, but he's got a network where he's fighting to save dogs. Or he doesn't like hamburgers, but he's got a hamburger chain. I don't understand your idea. How does that make sense? This person is fighting this. He's risking not having a job in Hollywood, being able to get his music done. He's risking being able to direct movies. He's risking these opportunities to talk about issues that you'd rather him not talk about at a time that you damn sure don't want him talking about it. You want all the focus to be on Trump is evil. And then some people are paying him back by saying, he doing that for money. He already got money, ho. We're the ones broke. So let's just give us an opportunity to play out. And let's ride a little further until you see actual signs of such. But some people coming with premeditated already, like Cube is not Terry Crews. Okay? So he's not Omarosa. He's not looking for a job working for Trump. Okay? People are hitting me with the dumbest. I'm just starting to get a little lit now. Because I'm thinking about some of the comments people, Tim, what did you think about Omarosa? Omarosa took a job working in the Trump administration. I don't think that's what Ice Cube is talking about. I mean, come on, have some common sense. Back to you, Mr. Lemon. I look forward to Ice Cube being on Don Lemon's show on Monday at 10 p.m. I will definitely be covering that, man. All right. That's what I'm looking forward to. Because we all know, we all know the Democrats really care about black issues. They really care. Now, what we know is they like talking about them. They like black votes. To them, black votes matter. Not so much the Black Lives Matter part. We already understand that. Okay? So, before I go any further and destroy this segment and make it acidic to your eardrums, neoliberals who are listening, let me just leave it here and just say, shitting on black men for voicing issues concerning the black community will get you canceled, not the other way around. And the people that will be doing the canceling are not the people that you work with who are detached from us in their bubble to begin with. The people that will cancel you are the people that aren't brainwashed in the ideas that you propagate across the airwaves, where you give this notion that the Democratic Party is the only place to be. Both of these parties suck, and we're not beholden to either one of them. Just like the Latinos, the Hispanic brothers and sisters, just like my white brothers and sisters, just like my Asian brothers and sisters, just like my indigenous brothers and sisters. We're not tied to any of these parties.